Ticket Machine is the official ticket broker of Spartan Nation. No matter what you need a ticket for, border to border, coast to coast, the Ticket Machine is your ticket source. So whether you need to get into the hottest concerts, the best sporting events, you want the best seats in the house, or you just want to get in the door, when you want to go to any event that requires a ticket, anywhere, border to border, coast to coast, it's always theticketmachine.com. Theticketmachine.com, 517-655-3201. Check it out today at theticketmachine.com.
You've had a chance now to review Notre Dame in a couple of different scenarios, maybe against less or strong opponents and then some good opponents. What's your thoughts on them overall?
They fly around, they play hard, athletic, big. You know, the linebackers come downhill right now, and it's going to be a big challenge.
They talk about their defense is predicated on right at the point of attack at the center, getting upfield to force runs left or right. Is that I've never seen a team that dedicated to just getting push on the center. Have you?
Well, they play a lot of what we call under defense, and so they've got a guy directly on the nose quite a bit. Sometimes he'll be on the guard, but it's very similar to what Ohio State has done in the past, where they try to disrupt the center and keep him from climbing.
When you look at the young guys through 2 games, I guess where's the progress that you've seen and where's the progress you want to see?
I'm very excited about them. I mean, to have 4 freshmen play significant amounts for the offensive line in the course of 2 weeks is pretty amazing. So, really excited. They'll continue to play as they deserve during the week. Like any time in my past here, you earn your reps during the week, and you make myself, Coach D'Antonio, Coach Bowman, Coach Warner, you make us comfortable in putting you in, and they're doing that.
How would you rate the offensive line through 2 weeks now?
Improving. Very physical last week. By last week, I'm talking about the Western Michigan game. Much more physical than week 1, but also there's angst, there's nervousness, and probably even a little bit of fear. You got to overcome fear. And first time on this, on that stadium where you've got 75,000 there and millions viewing at home. So I'm very excited for them, and they continue to do what I asked them to do and put forth a great effort.
Over the years here at Michigan State, you guys have had some classic games with Notre Dame, some memorable moments both ways. Is it to the point where when you guys go to play these guys that you just expect that there's going to be a play or 2 plays that people are going to remember from?
Yeah, there's always a play or 2 plays or a couple of instances, good and bad. And any coach, in my opinion, you remember the losses more than you remember the wins. Now, you remember little certain parts of the wins, but like talking to Gerald yesterday, he's like, "Oh, I had 2 touchdowns last year, Coach. I remembered the one, the one long one he ran. That's all I had remembered, and everything else, besides watching things on film, things we tried to do, was kind of a blur, until you saw it again. So I think the wins, you get excited, you get fired up, but then that next day you're on to next. You're grading it up, you're on to next one. The losses, you just keep thinking about oh man, did I not do this enough? Did I not do that enough? And that happens quite a bit, especially with these rivalry games.
When you go back to that 2010 game, obviously we all know how it finished with the fake field goal, but there were a lot of young guys there that maybe weren't really on the field but were on the sidelines that saw that happen. It was kind of really the start of all the success that came from that point. Do you think this team now is kind of in that same spot? You have so many young guys that this can be the kind of game that kind of sparks that
I think
sort of success?
we have a lot of guys that just I don't maybe it's not the correct word use, but they just don't know any better. They're going to go out there, they're going to ball, they're going to play, they're going to go hard, and oh wow, that guy is a little bit bigger than the guy I faced last week. Oh man, that guy is a little bit faster than the guy, so I don't, but you're seeing that every day in practice. So to them, I think there will be, like somebody mentioned, 4, 5, 6 plays that predicate who comes out of this victorious.
When you look at that defense or the defense that you guys are facing, not much in terms of personnel changes, but they've changed a lot in their scheme. I guess, what have you seen from the changes with the new coordinator?
I just, I see a lot of athleticism. They're using Dalen and now as a boundary end, and they have him standing up quite a bit, and he's able to move around and work through blocks and do some good things there. Inside, they're stout, they're big guys. They're playing 2 freshmen as well. So, they've got, I'm sure they're problems, playing young guys as we do. So they have 2 freshmen inside, but very athletic young people. And then, outside, I think one of their biggest, the other Hayes is, he's their biggest guy. I mean, our tight ends tackles are going to have to face a 6'4", 6'5", 295-pound guy every play. So it's just all those different little things. And so it's the next step. And, I am really pleased with the resiliency, with the way they've been working through these 2 weeks of practice and the excitement and the pitch and how it's moving forward. So it's a rivalry game.
Mark, we talked with D'Antonio, who grew up a Notre Dame fan, and Byron, who did as well. You grew up in a part of the state where it's either Michigan State, or Notre Dame. It's a pretty unique angle. Can you talk about maybe your perspective growing up and what this rivalry means to you?
I have a lot of friends, still good friends to this day. The Nate family, they had, blocks and blocks of tickets. So those tickets you were able to go with them whenever you'd have a free moment. And so I never really, I cheered for good football,
right.
But one year I had all the pennants from all the other teams that they played, and they were all in my room, because I just buy the other pennant, and, but I've always respected, the Holtz era and things like that. I always respected what they did and what it meant, to be, a Fighting Irish and to be an alum. And it's always been quality classic football. But just like there's a ton of Michigan and a ton of Michigan State fans in the area that I'm from. So just being here and being a part of it now in so many different venues and veins, and sometimes you pinch yourself, and like you guys, you're fortunate to cover a Big Ten university. It's a privilege. It's not a right. It's not. There's thousands of other people that would love to be in your shoes, and so with that, I think comes some responsibility of how we do it and what we do in the daily march, and we've all, including you guys, got to be cognizant of that, and you got to understand that, hey, you're an important piece, I'm an important piece of this Michigan State football puzzle.
You mentioned a minute ago about the players that don't know any better when they're a young player. How much does that help that they don't see an opponent and think, oh, this is a lot bigger, everything's just kind of the same to them?
I don't know if it helps, I don't know if it hurts. If I could figure that one out, I'd probably make a lot more money. I think the biggest thing about it is they haven't been involved in one of these yet. So there's going to be some flubs that happen. And there's going to be where, if you've been in a few of them, you may be a little more down on yourself. Oh, I can't believe I just pulled on power and tripped over the center's foot or something like, that will happen. And instead, hey, okay, hey, I'll get it next. Hey, coach, this is what happened. Okay, great. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Luke. And on we go, just talking about my freshmen. So it's been a great attitude this week. The other thing that, of course, you guys will see, and you guys who talk to these freshmen and talk to some of these young guys, is classes are now, ramped up. You're taking exams, you're doing papers, you're doing all that stuff. So now, not only do you have the excitement, the bit of nervousness for Saturday's game, but now you're facing, man, I have a 6-page paper due on Monday. I've got my first exam on Wednesday, and man, that econ class is killing me. So all that stuff, and it's not just us, it's everybody nationwide. So those are some of the things that you're forced as a mentor to try to help with.
You mentioned Luke, hit that kick-out block on Brian's touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what have you seen in his development through 2 weeks, and what was better week 2 versus week 1?
Well, he's been able to play both sides as well. You guys don't see that yet. You will this weekend, but he's been able to go back and forth. And for him to do that, it was hard enough to get him to go from the inside position out to tackle. And tremendous note taker, very, very serious about, when I'm drawing something on the board, making sure that's in his book, making sure any questions that need to be asked, he asks. So his development has been from his work ethic, and that's been great. And I'm just excited to see what happens when we line him up on the other side.
Can you believe it's been 7 years already since Little Giants?
It's all that stuff. Talking to Charlie, I keep up with Charlie Gantt all the time, and just talking to him. It was either yesterday or the day before yesterday, and nothing was said about that play. You know what I mean? But just catching up with him, and now it's 7 years later, so he's now almost 30 or is 30, and he's getting his master's and doing all this other fun stuff. So, it's life changes you. Yeah.
Mark, on Little Giants, is part of the coaching that when D'Antonio very calmly says on the sideline, let's go Little Giants, and all the players have to have a poker face? Because there's a field goal, because they could have all been like, what? What are we doing?
Well, that's what Le'Veon did.
He did, because Bolo it looked like Max Bolo's eyes got real big.
Well, no, that's what, because you don't recall this, but if you look back at some of the reporting, Manti Te'o said, we saw the wing go up and talk to the holder, because Le'Veon was on the field at the time, and he did not get the communication. And so then
on the sideline,
so quickly, when he got it, he was like, wait, that can't be, it's 4th and 14. This can't be happening. So he actually went back, and then that's why they tackled him. And the guy who never caught the ball in practice, Charlie, ends up making that catch.
But even on the sideline, there's no commotion. It's
That's the way it is. And a lot of times people don't know. It's just a handful who know. It may be just, the offense that knows that this play is coming, or the defense knows that they're running this blitz, and everybody else is just watching it happen. And the same can be said about a play like Little Giants.
So all the coaches knew, all the players knew.
They didn't know when Little Giants was happening. I think Salem was in his first year, maybe his second year here. I think it was his first year. And he said, did he call it? And he goes, did he call Little Giants? And I just go, yeah. I mean, he brings that story up to me. And it's funny because I don't even remember that part of it, because when the head coach says, is it going to work? And you got to answer that. And yeah, coach, it's going to work. And then you're going, man, it's 4th and 14. And I just told him this play is going to work. So hopefully it does.
that play transpires in like 15 seconds. What are what's the emotions for you as a coach? How nervous are you? And then when you see it, how fired
I don't know that. I mean, it's just like all you guys who are parents. You're nervous about your kid's first day of school. You're nervous about the first time driving. You're nervous about a hockey game. You're nervous about whatever it might be. And the same thing goes with your kids on the football field. And now you're doing it in front of 75,000 plus millions and millions on TV, and it's a critical moment. And it can be decided on, Le'Veon Bell getting tackled. But thankfully Bates, cool as a cucumber. That's why he's in AD now, and he just calmly looked to his next read, and off it went.
So speaking of last week, correct me if I'm wrong, or last game, you weren't able to play as many second-string offensive line as the first game. So the score probably had something to do with that, or maybe not.
No.
Or am I wrong about the snap count there?
No. They didn't play as much, but it also wasn't. We're trying to soak the guys that are going to be. You try to soak them, and you try to get them in when you can, and because the combination between Cole and Tyler needs to be what it's becoming, and you can't do that without live snaps. And so there was, and Kevin would have played more, but his series was a 3 and out, and it was like, man, it was a 3 and out, and he was good with it, and you'll keep seeing more of those guys, and they'll keep learning. And I mean, the biggest thing is for them to be up in practice and getting the coaching every play, and not being on the Rocks team and not understanding that, hey, on power you've got to take this footwork, or hey, did you see that go through the A gap? That was yours. Things of that nature.
Did you had Jordan only get one series too? I thought I remember seeing that.
Got a series.
He had 2 fumbled snaps in 2 games. Are those just anomalies, or is there something more to it?
Well, I mean, the one was high and hot, and the other one, was a freshman snapper, on the second play, So it's it's something you want to get rid of. It's something you want to stop, and you want to So we've been, we always do a turnover circuit, and we always do ball security, and it's amped up. It's been very, everything's been paid attention to a little bit more, because games, they go one way or the other, and a lot of times it's based on turnovers. As you look at it and you look at a turnover ratio, most of the time successful teams getting the ball more, successful teams giving it away more, or giving away less, they got more wins. They're generally the ones that are successful. So we've got to get back, and we've been so successful on that over the course of our time here. So that's been a part that's frustrating. On the flip side, you see like penalized teams. We've really, knock on wood, kept those minimal. Cool.
Thanks, Mark.
All right. You're welcome.